just with the Randy Bullock optimism, I feel it. I'm with you. He was perfect in the preseason. He's been almost perfect through camp. So hopefully, yes, our kicker woes are over, Justin. But no jinxes here.
No jinxes here.
Hey, I told you we make plays down here in Tennessee. We don't need y'all to talk about us because we're going to talk about ourselves.
Like, okay, are we not living right, Jake? Like, are we living in sin? What have we done to piss off the football gods, Jake? Unreal. We waited all off season long to see these Titans play again. And well, we got what we were waiting for, Jake. Titans football is back in the truest form ever, as what was on display Sunday evening. Titans go down at home, 21-20, losing their home opener for the second straight year. Oh my gosh, Jake, there's just so much that happened in this game, so much we can dissect and talk about. I would rather not, but because for some reason we have this YouTube channel, we are required to cover these. So as much as it pains us, we're gonna try to do this thing. I guess we could also rename this episode the Throw Todd Downing Under the Bus episode, because I have never seen someone thrown under the bus harder for a game. For probably some good reason, but I think there were miscues all over the field with this Titans football team, Jake. So I don't know. Well, let me wrangle it back in, Jake. Let me throw it to you. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry that we're Titans fans. I'm so sorry. How
it's
are you
okay.
feeling?
I accept your apology. That's one of the first times anybody's ever apologized, especially a Titans fan as well, apologizing to me. So I really do appreciate that, Justin. That felt sincere.
We have common empathy here. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you said it best right off the top there. Titans football is back in the worst way. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, Justin, but it would be incredibly on brand for the Titans to lose to an inferior opponent at home and then travel on the national stage to Buffalo and win. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that is very on brand for Tennessee Titans football. And it makes you want to rip your hair out. But at the end of the day, when they get the victories, it's a lot more fun to get on the Zoom call and chat about Titans football. But Justin, I think it's going to surprise you that I am largely unbothered. I mean, of course, I hate that the Titans lost and they played down to their competition. And it's, I could go on and on and on and on about how this wasn't a shocking Titans loss because we've seen this loss happen 100 times. Yeah. And so, yes, it is infuriating. It is not as fun to do these episodes, but I'm not overwhelmingly bothered or concerned about this Tennessee Titans football team because I think they still have a really good football team on their hands. They're built to win now and compete for a division title and compete in the playoffs. But yes, what is holding this Tennessee Titans team back? Justin, I'm going to kick it back to you with a note that I wrote right before we came on. Who is mainly to blame for this Titans loss? Was it A, Randy Bullock,
okay,
for missing a 47-yard kick, which should have been routine, pulled it wide left. Randy Bullock, what is there to say? We mentioned how he was perfect all throughout the preseason and training camp and how something's gonna happen. And what do you know? Something happened. So is it A, Randy Bullock? Is it B, the second half defense? To be the second half defense, who I thought the defense played really, really, really well on Sunday up until halftime, and it was weird because the Titans only scored 13 points, 2 giant plays by the Giants, and it was a tie ball game. And then there was one drive by Daniel Jones at the end to go get that touchdown and eventually the 2-point conversion to take the lead. So is it A, Randy, B, the defense, C, the man under the bus, Todd Downing? or is it D, all of the above, Justin? Because I think it's all of the above.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, this was a team effort in losing, and I think the least person to blame is Randy Bullock, and it just sucks to be the kicker in that situation. And he set the bar pretty dang high for himself after the season he had last year, and then the training camp, all the reports, he wasn't missing anything, didn't miss a kick in preseason. But what do you know? The dreaded kicking woes came back to bite us in the butt. But I think Derrick Henry said it. It should not have even come down to that, Jake. It should not have come down to Randy Bullock having to bail out this team after a horrible, sloppy second half performance. And I mean, you mentioned that 13-0 lead. I felt so good about it. Even then, like, yeah, it would have been nice to have a larger lead, but it felt like a much bigger lead than 13-0 because it felt like the defense had the clamps down. They were in control. Giants could not move the ball. The pass rush was killing it. I mean, this was a vintage Big Jeff defensive line. I mean, this defense in the first half looked like that Bengals playoff game where we were just swarming and getting after Joe Burrow. And they couldn't get anything going. And then what was the other thing? Todd Downing. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
the man under the bus.
I mean, if you want to get into some of this Todd Downing talk, and a lot of it is that what I'm seeing like on Twitter, and it's justified, pointing out like these critical situations where we're deep on a 3rd and goal. And who do we have on the field? Cody Hollister, Jeff Swaim, Tony Carter, Derrick Henry in the backfield. I don't understand the personnel packages that we're using with some of these players. And instead of these top of the line talent, supposedly that we brought into this team, Robert Woods, Traylon Burks, who had a decent, first game getting into the rhythm of this offense, but also Kyle Phillips, dude, poor Kyle Phillips. Okay, you're a 5th round rookie, and dude, this guy already first game has a huge role on this team. He's our punt returner first and foremost, and he's maybe wide receiver 1. I mean, this guy had 9 targets. It felt like we were forcing him the ball at certain points in the game. I don't think he had a catch in the first half, but I mean, we were just like, all right, we just fell to Kyle Phillips like this. We got to get some rhythm, get something going. So he looked good. I know he muffed the punt, and that sucks. And I hated that. That killed some momentum. Was that the
Hooker interception?
Okay, so got bailed out there. So that really didn't hurt us at the end of the day. But I guess I'm getting off track. But going back to Todd Downing, and like, where was Austin Hooper the whole game? Jeff Swaim, getting 4 targets, dropping one that hit him in the face. And then of course, oh my God, the Chig tight end,
end around,
or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm almost done, Jake, with this rant. But I do want to say fine. This. I'm not a huge fan of like the cutesy little gadgety plays. I mean, they're a staple on some teams, like the Kansas City Chiefs. They do stuff like that all the time. But especially in these critical late game situations, to bust out a play like that, and especially that features a rookie tight end in his first game, handing him the ball. I get you want to do something that the defense isn't ready for or isn't expected, but I just feel like that's bad game planning. That you're not putting your best players in your best positions to have success when the game is potentially on the line. On the flip side of that, you see the New York Giants on their 2-point conversion, gutsy call that won them the game essentially. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't even a fan of their little rollout shovel pass play. I wasn't a fan of that. And they, thank God for Saquon Barkley's thunder thighs, because he was able to break a tackle and then drive through a couple other Titans to make that conversion. So good on him for that. But you know what the difference was in their gadgety, cutesy little trick play? It featured their star player. Their star player was getting the ball, and we were going to our backup rookie tight end to convert a huge 3rd down conversion. So I don't know, man. What is this offense? We looked like an offense that was struggling to find some kind of identity, like especially in like passing the football. I know we want to be a hard-nosed run the football team, but I don't know. I don't know what we're doing half the time when I'm seeing some of these players on the field, and Robert Woods has 1 catch for 13 yards and he's not on the field in critical situations. So rant over. 10 minutes later, Jake, do you have a retort to my rant? Like, about this team and the Downing effect.
I do. It felt like I was watching the Terry Robisky Titans offense from back in the day, and just that off the bat. And I've seen people saying, Vrabel, better watch your back, dude. Mike Mularkey didn't want to get rid of his offensive coordinator when it was obvious things weren't working, and he got yanked out of town, and in came you. So I don't think Vrabel's going to make that same mistake. I haven't heard anybody caught it, but there was a spirited conversation between Mike Vrabel and Todd Downing on the sidelines. At least the TV showed just a second of it. I said, usually it's something you don't see on the Titans sideline a lot. I don't know. It was very short, but I caught a glimpse of that. So maybe there's a seedling there that Todd Downing is going to get, the old Kane pull off stage act by Mike Vrabel in this season. We'll see. Man. But you said it best, Justin, when you said not putting your best players in the best positions to execute in critical conditions. It drove me absolutely bananas in critical situations last year. We were throwing to Nick Westbrook-Akina, and we were throwing to Cody Hollister, and we were throwing to Michael Pruitt. And what are we doing out here? And it takes me almost back to the Houston game at Houston in 2019, I believe. 2018, Mike Vrabel's first year. They handed it off to then tight end Luke Stocker, I believe, on a 4th and 1. And of course it was stuffed. And of course everybody went ballistic. It is the same situation as the Chigakonkwo end around. And I know that's super specific to really get into the nitty gritty.
I thought of the same thing.
But it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And then you can even parlay the getting cute gadget plays to, there was a 3rd and 1 or 2, 3rd and very short. Derrick Henry goes into the Wildcat. Normally, I have no reservations about that. But this time, it was 3rd and 1, crucial play. The Titans need this first down. Derrick Henry drops the snap. And I don't have as much real criticism about that because we've seen Derrick Henry run the Wildcat for 3 to 4 seasons now, and he's never dropped a snap. And this just happened to be the day that he had his first fumble running the Wildcat. I don't know what you do with this Titans offense, Justin. I feel unbothered by this loss just because I'm at a loss with what do you do? What do you do? It's kind of obvious that it's not going to work with this formula that they keep trying to push together on offense. You have a quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, a very serviceable quarterback who I was happy to not see get any of the blame. I was happy to see Ryan Tannehill get no blame on this loss because he did everything he needed to do. He was the game manager. I'm looking at his stat line, 20 of 33, 266, and 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Took 1 sack.
Yeah. That's amazing, especially after week 1 last year. He did everything you wanted him to do. He put us in position to win the game at the end after we blew it.
And there's even a coaching decision argument to be made in why did the Titans try and get 5 more yards for Randy Bullock's game-winning kick? And yes, Ryan Tannehill, it was a kind of a bonehead move to lose 3 yards and centering the ball there. But at the end of the day, you're within the 30-yard line. You did your job, what you need to do. You got the team into field goal range. Randy Bullock made a 46-yarder earlier in the game. I think his game winner was a 47. So that's why I think some of the blame lies at Randy Bullock's feet and not solely maybe, Todd Downing under the bus. Obviously, I'm in for a complete revamp and new scheme for the Titans offense. But the problem is they've built the roster in such a way that they're so handcuffed to Derrick Henry and the zone running scheme. And you've backed yourself into a corner in that facet. So I don't blame Todd Downing for continuing what worked in 2019, 2020, and has now sputtered in 21 and 22 to start week 1. I don't blame Todd Downing as much just because Randy, make the kick, man. This is an NFL kicker should be able to make the 46, 47-yarder. And he can. He did earlier in the game. But this one he pulled, and that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles at the end of the day. So I'm at a loss, Justin, at how to feel about this Titans team because I thought there was a lot of bright spots. Dontrell Hilliard is the receiving back. He was our leading receiver on the day. Or Kyle Phillips had him by 5 yards. Dontrell Hilliard, 3 catches, 61 yards, 20 yards apiece, and he had both touchdowns on the day. And
dude, that's great, and I'm happy. And Hilliard looks like a great receiving back. Good for him. But is this what we wanted, or what we're trying to do with this offense? Is like feature Dontrell Hilliard in our game plan to be our second leading receiver, catching 2 touchdown passes. I mean, there's no way he was like the first option or second option. I mean, especially on, I think, the longer one. I think Tannehill found him. Yeah. Running out into the flat, but yeah, like that seems to be just kind of accidental. Like that wasn't like I don't know. Like Tannehill, the initial play wasn't there, so he was able to find Hilliard, and Hilliard made the play. Great, I'm glad that happened. But man, yeah, what does that say with the rest of our receivers?
Yeah,
not getting involved in the game. So.
And, they say comparison is the thief of joy, Justin. And I agree with that sentiment. But when you go into an NFL Sunday and you got all the games and you're watching Red Zone and you see Justin Jefferson, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and
A.J. Brown
doing his thing. A.J. Brown doing his thing in Philly. And it just pains me that the Titans don't have a real passing game. I know you said accidental in a weird way, but it feels like when we have passing success, it feels accidental. It feels like that's not what we're supposed to be doing. And it is coming, when we do have passing production, it's Dontrell Hilliard and 5th round rookie Kyle Phillips and Cody Hollister for a big 22-yard catch. And it's stop selling us Robert Woods jerseys. Stop selling us, Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper was supposed to be Tannehill's guy this year, but obviously Kyle Phillips has risen up to take that. But I don't know. I'm just at a loss at what to think about this Titans offense. I mean, Derrick Henry looked okay. He had a burst here and there, but nothing more of a pedestrian day from Henry at 4 yards a carry, 82 yards, 0 touchdowns. It's just more of the same with this Titans offense. You have to score points to win football games. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. Again, the defense played really well. They allowed 21 points. And frankly, they should have allowed less than that. It was 2 giant plays. It was the blown coverage by Christian Fulton, and then Saquon Barkley doing Saquon Barkley things. These are going to happen throughout the course of a game. You got to score points at the end of the day. You got to score more than 20 points to win a game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the defense is hard to judge because, yes, you had the 2 huge plays, and that happened last year. Remember against Seattle? We got down big against them in week 2, I think, because we just kept giving up home run plays, and then we finally corrected that. But the home run plays were back for the Giants again against this Titans defense. But the running defense, Jake, 238 yards allowed on the ground. And I think it was 68 of those came on 1 run from Saquon. But, dude, he was still gashing us pretty consistently. So I don't know if that's a problem. And that was discouraging to see after how much we had controlled and contained the line of scrimmage in the first half. So, I mean, there were miscues in all 3 phases, Jake. You had the bad run defense and giving up the huge plays. On offense, you had the handoff to Chikaquanquo and all the questions we just covered. On special teams, you had the muffed punt that didn't come back to bite us, fortunately. But, of course, the missed game-winning field goal from Bullock. So just a team effort in all 3 phases. I mean, if just one of those phases plays a little bit better or makes a play here and there, I mean, this game was a coin flip. I mean, it came down to a 47-yard field goal. And I know you said you're an NFL kicker. You need to just make the kick. Well, a lot of NFL kickers missed game-winning field goals on Sunday, weirdly enough, along with a whole lot of double-digit comebacks. And the Titans, unfortunately, were a victim of one of those comebacks. Just a weird day of football. I know we said this in the preview, very hard to just kind of gauge where your team is after just one game. We should have said this at the top. Let's not overreact, Jake. I know I've done my own overreacting. I can't help it. I have overreacted, and we're very much questioning what this offense is going to look like. Is this going to be the same offense come October? Like, oh, man, I know we didn't give up any sacks, but, dude, we got to go to Buffalo, and it could be a different story next Monday night against the Bills. This offense better figure out something fast, or Yeah, that game. I mean, Titans are going to be double-digit underdogs after
They
Sunday's
are
game.
double-digit underdogs.
Are they?
10 points. 10 points. 10-point underdogs. But I said it at the top. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked when the Titans beat Buffalo by 13, by double digits. I'm not, again, that is not an endorsement or a prediction of what is coming out of my mouth. That is just, we've seen this so many times. The Titans playing down to bad competition, losing a game like this. And then you're like, Jesus, now we got to go to Buffalo, the Super Bowl champs. And we've seen them rebound and topple, higher competition, especially in the Mike Vrabel era. They've been great at playing the underdog card. The problem is when they do end up toppling the giant, they can't stay on top. They can't have that role as the leader of the pack. They need to be behind, playing from behind, playing as an underdog to, I feel like, get up for games. And it's just, it's infuriating.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, was the Jets loss last year in overtime? Was that right before we beat Buffalo the next Monday night? Because those games were pretty close together. So it's weird that the other New York team, not expected to win this game, wins this game, and we play Buffalo on a Monday Night Football game.
Yeah.
The NFL, I don't know. Probably did that on purpose again to us. But hey, it worked out last time. We beat the Bills after a letdown game. But man, yeah, they are looking really good from judging from that Thursday night game. But I don't. Yeah. So what else can we say, Jake, about this Titans team after week one? Man, I mean, were we too confident? Did we come across too cocky?
No.
In the preview episode. No. I don't want to disrespect the Giants. They came out and played and stole a win in Nashville. Good for them. Yeah. But man, I really expected us to be 1-0 right now, and we're not. So we got to pick up a win when we're not expected to pick up a win at some point in the season, a la next week. Yes.
Yes. It's going to be a very important next few weeks for the Titans, obviously. You kind of want to flush this one, a game that you had in your hands. You were up by 13 points. You should have been up by more, frankly. And you let it slip, but nothing you can do besides turn the page and go to, Orchard Park, New York next week. And I keep saying it. I'm at a loss because I saw a lot of things that I wanted to see out of the Titans on Sunday, despite them losing the game. Ryan Tannehill was as sharp as we've seen Ryan Tannehill. He was throwing lasers, absolute dots. The one on the final drive to Kyle Phillips that put them in field goal range was a thing of beauty. And, Patrick Mahomes makes that throw and everybody's all over TikTok screaming about it, but Ryan Tannehill makes that throw. And of course he still is a mid-tier quarterback, but we saw Ryan Tannehill respond and play a really, really great game. And we saw Derrick Henry have a couple gashing runs, although he never had the big one. He never had the wear him down secession runs like we've seen in the past. I think that's by design, working him back into this. But, we saw Bud Dupree step up in Harold Landry's absence. Bud Dupree was making plays all over the field in the first half, at least. And Big Jeff Simmons, you said it was a repeat of the Cincinnati game in the first half. You saw things you wanted to see. And even Kyle Phillips, as a return specialist, opened the game with a big return. And of course, the flip side of it was really the tale of two halves for the Titans on Sunday. Yeah. And I don't know how to feel about it, Justin. And it sucks looking up and seeing 0-1, but it is all about perspective. Half of the league is 0-1, as they usually say, except for our friends, the Indianapolis Colts and Houston Texans, who are 0-1.
Friends.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But half the league doesn't have a win, and you got to look at it like that. And yes, it's a daunting task to go to Buffalo, but then you have two big winnable games, in my opinion, against the Las Vegas Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts, which are vastly, vastly more important. Just win this division is the goal right now. It's not, don't look ahead to the playoffs. It's not, we're not going 17-0. It's not, we played down to an opponent week one. It's, you got to win the division. You got to look ahead. You got to there's 16 games, a full NFL season a couple years ago. There's a full NFL season ahead of us. We can't be down about this game. And that's why I feel unbothered. And that's why I feel mixed. I feel just wish-wash. I don't feel anything really, Justin.
Yeah.
Maybe the Titans have just beaten me down into feeling nothing after all these years.
Yeah, we feel nothing now after games like these. I mean, you honestly have made me feel a little bit better. You actually have, putting things into perspective. And,
I'm glad.
we're not the only team, obviously, dealing with this. So almost half the teams in the league are 0-1. And I mean, dude, look at some of these teams and their fan bases. What is Green Bay feeling? Losing back to the Vikings. That's a divisional game. What about a Cowboys fan losing Dak for I don't know how long? They lost their starting quarterback and did not look good in that loss to Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Cincinnati. Joe Burrow had 5 turnovers, almost had 6 turnovers in that game.
Ooh. I mean, that game was absolutely bonkers. It seemed like, that was another kicking woes all over the place game. And then Russell Wilson, people were super high on the Broncos being a playoff team, and they can't beat Geno Smith's led Seahawks. So lots of down people, lots of down fans, lots of people down on their teams after 1 week. We're not the only ones. It's just one game. I mean, like you said at the top, this is still a very good team. I still have faith in the Titans. But hey, this is the NFL. Everyone is a professional. Everyone's professional athletes. You can lose at any moment. This isn't. Dang it! I was going to make a college football reference. This like Appalachian State going, and who did they beat? Who did
Texas A&M or Marshall going
like
to
Texas
Notre
A&M,
Dame?
Appalachian State.
Bad
Any
examples
team.
for what we were saying, but I got you.
Yeah, any team can win on any given Sunday, and unless you're Texas A&M, that's any given Saturday as well. Just putting in perspective, it's just a week. Got to have a short memory and just keep looking forward. We can't get down in September. No Super Bowls have ever been won in September. So
you're absolutely right, Justin. I love that.
Yeah. All right.
I'll keep that rolling for every month. Every month we lose a game, I'll say no Super Bowls were won in December, Justin, or January even.
Yeah. Now, yeah.
They're all won. Maybe back in the day they were won in January, but mostly February.
Titans Rams in '99, I think, because they didn't have 2 weeks in between. I remember them.
Mm-hmm.
They won the conference championships, and then it was immediately the next Sunday was the Super Bowl. So that was probably a January.
Fair enough.
Anyway, man, I thought I had something else to say or bring up from around the NFL, but I don't know. It's all good. It's gone from the memory. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about this game?
I'll bring up a quote from my dad who taught me this very early on in my NFL fandom. And it was, do you know what the NFL stands for, Justin?
Not for long?
Not for long. Yes. Yep. Exactly. The NFL stands for not for long. And that couldn't be truer week to week. And, you learn that you see things repeat themselves and history repeat itself over and over again as you stack the years on. And just not for long, if you're down and out, just wait a little bit. And the snake always turns, or the worm always turns. That's another great saying I've heard when it comes to professional sports. I don't know, man. Best thing you can do is put on a brave face and go to Buffalo.
I like you. Your dad is a wise man. I mean, how many doom and gloom games did we have last year? Week 1 last year, we were doom and gloom, and we looked even worse in that game, and we still ended up winning 12 games, number 1 seed in the AFC. I think the season ended after that. There wasn't any playoffs after we captured the one.
Yeah, there was cancellation.
Real good last year. Yeah,
it was a great year. But yeah, it's there's going to be these down and out games. There's going to be games that look a lot worse than this season. Even if the Titans are a good team, I mean, think back to last year, the Pittsburgh game and how ugly that was, and the New England game and how ugly that was. We're going to watch these games. And the more you realize that the Titans aren't going to go 17-0, we are going to pick them to be 17-0 likely, Justin.
I'm still picking 17-0.
Absolutely. But we don't actually expect them to go 17-0. Little, pull back the curtain secret here at Titans too.
How dare you, Jay? You let go of our secret.
But anyways, that's all I got, man. I this game, it just sucked to blow that lead. It just sucked to watch, and you kind of even when the Giants were driving on that last touchdown drive, I was thinking they should go for two. Like, they really should go for two on the road against a better opponent.
Yeah.
And you have Saquon Barkley, who's running all over the yard. I thought it was a great call by Brian Dable. Hats off to the Giants, honestly, for coming in and getting that 2-point conversion. What a game, man. But that's all I have to say, man. Other than tighten up, brave faces, everyone. 0-1 is not the end of the year. It is September. We got a long way to go.
No one has ever been eliminated from the playoffs being 0-1 as well in the history of football. 0-1, you're still in it. You're still in it, guys.
And I don't want to see the statistics next week about, teams that are 0-2 make the playoffs this amount of times. I'm also not chalking up the Buffalo game as a loss already. But if the Titans are 0-2 this time next week, Justin, we're not pushing the panic button then either, because it's all about beating your divisional opponents. It's all about winning this AFC South, which, if week 1 was any inclination, it's not a very good division yet again, Justin. So it's going to be the Titans for the taking, and it's all about just winning games at hand. And right now, let's go beat Goliath. Let's go beat David and go beat Goliath in Buffalo. That would be a great way to get this team back on track, confidence, and a little bit of swagger with this 2022 edition of the Tennessee Titans. So I don't know if you have anything else, Justin. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz.
Yeah, that was a great wrap up there. I will say, if this team goes on and does lose to Buffalo and the offense looks pedestrian yet again, I know Buffalo's got a great defense, but perhaps that could be the official Todd Downing on the hot seat watch if this offense comes out for the second straight game and just struggles to move the ball, put up points. I mean, you got to score points in the NFL, even if you're facing a number 1 defense. So Todd Downing, all eyes are on you. Fix this offense, brother, or you might be kicking rocks mid-season.
Yep.
All right. Todd Downing officially under the bus. Episode
we have done our part as Titans fans by throwing Todd Downing under the bus. Everybody's doing it, classic peer pressure kind of move.
Tighten up, guys. See ya.
Later.